Talking with the experts.
In episode 375, Heike Heemann discusses how we can turn our LinkedIn profile into a client magnet. Your profile?
Yes, you can have hashtags in your about section. You can put them in your headline if you want. You should put them in the posts that you create, no matter if it's a long form post or a short one. And that helps with searchability. Then if you have enough of a profile already and enough of a presence on LinkedIn, then you can put your profile in what's called creator mode. And that lets you also put hashtags in the header section of your profile.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts. This is where we discuss great ideas to take your business to the next level. How do we know these ideas work? Well, it's because we're talking with business owners who are using these ideas. Business owners who have years of experience and expertise. All things business by business owners for business owners. And now, here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. You can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And tell me, do you want some tips on how to turn your LinkedIn profile into a client magnet? My next guest, Heike Heemann, is going to be challenging us to do just that. And Heike is a business person, coach, consultant who works with executives on building their personalized LinkedIn strategy and their profile, helping them to improve their professional networking skills, both online and in person, as well as communication skills, this which leads to increased professional success. So how much are our potential new clients worth to us? Well, Heike has worn numerous professional hats, including sales, marketing, and general management roles, spanning several industries before starting Idea Share Coaching in 2013. And I will let Heike explain to us how she can help us to turn our leads into prospects. Thanks, Heike. Thank you so much for being here today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Tell me, how did you get into LinkedIn specifically?
I got into it in 2008 for personal reasons because I was looking for a new career opportunities and built out my network, starting with people in a new location. I had relocated or was about to a significant distance away, and I would have no local network. So I started there asking questions in terms of who can you recommend that is a lawyer, a doctor, a dentist, etc. Just finding out my way around the local community. And then I began attending networking events in person and following up with people on LinkedIn, which helped cement relationships. And I got so excited about it, I eventually started teaching others how to use it. And started out as a business coach in 2013. And right before the pandemic, actually, I pivoted to LinkedIn because I wanted to help people move to their dream jobs or do better in their chosen profession than they were doing without LinkedIn. So here we are.
Sorry, go on. We are, yeah.
No, here we are. So
yeah. So I know LinkedIn has changed in the last, couple of years on how it's engaging people a lot more. It's not, it is for business profiles. It's not a social network such as Facebook or any of those others. However, it's still, I guess, a little bit limited in what it can do, unless you have the paid, profile generator or whatever it's called. I can't remember now, but
Sales Navigator. Yes,
thank you so much. Yes. And I find it a little bit different, just organically reaching people without using Sales Navigator. So how can we do that organically?
Well, you have to start with a solid profile, because even with Sales Navigator, yes, you can do more searches and you can do more outreach, but if your profile isn't inviting to people to read more, to click that good old more button for additional information, even Sales Navigator is not going to help you much. So it starts with the bits that are visible whenever you show up in a search, and that is your headshot, your name fields, and your headline. And then it goes from there. But really, if you think about it, LinkedIn is sort of like the Google for people. It's a search engine. It has its own built-in search bar, but it's also searched by Google, which means it's important to have keywords in your profile. And that starts with the headline. Most people just leave it as is when LinkedIn fills it, and that is with your current job title. But you have over 200 characters that you can get creative with. And the recommendation is generally to describe how you help someone, who you help, and maybe an additional benefit or a negative that you eliminate. So let's say someone is a fitness coach. They could, and they specialize in helping women get their shape back after they've given birth. So they could say, I help women who have recently given birth to regain their shape without those dreaded sit-ups, or something along those lines. Or you could be a CPA for a specific type of business with a specific software platform. Let's say you are a CPA for entrepreneurs that have no more than 10 employees and use QuickBooks as their software platform. So you really want to make sure that you maximize your headline. Now you can have a tagline there, and then you can add, if you have space, a few additional keywords. In my case, it would be author, speaker, and then maybe something else. So it's really, you have to have a description of what you do, how you help, and a couple of keywords in your headline to start with. And you have to have a professional headshot that is current. I mean, you don't want to have a great headshot that's 5 years out of date when you didn't wear glasses, had a beard and a different hair color, and people can't recognize you in a Zoom call or in an in-person networking event. And so those are the two starter bits for your header portion of your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah. So what about the profile itself? What should be included in that?
Included should be as I again repeated in the about section, but maybe more elaborated upon, what it is you do, who you help, and how you help them. You do not, in your about section, want to regurgitate your CV or resume. There is a portion of your profile that is more or less like a resume, but even there, you need to gear the content towards your ideal target audience. So it shouldn't be a copy and paste out of your most recent job description, like you would see it on a job hunting website. That's not what people are looking for. They're looking for the results you've offered your employer, your clients, depending on who you're trying to reach. And then you need to have as much filled out as you can. So in terms of keywords, there is a section called skills, and it's literally a list of skills that you have that are relevant to your target. And you want to sort the top 3 out. You can pin them to the top of the list that are the most important. So you don't want to have, for instance, Microsoft skills if you're not a Microsoft programmer, but rather a public speaker. Then public speaking should be the first line item in your skills list.
Can you sort the skills list into order, or is it just as you populate it?
You can pin the top 3, and then you can sort them below. But in order for people to see the rest of them, they have to click that more button. So yes, you can sort them, and you want to focus on the most relevant at the top of the list.
Yeah, so keywords is a thing that's we all hear about, but what are keywords, just say for yourself? What kind of keywords would you have in your profile?
I have LinkedIn coaching, I have coaching by itself, I have public speaking as some of the top ones. And then further down, I have things from my past career that still have relevance, like marketing, sales, and other things. So it's really words that would actually show up on a resume or in a executive job description on a Fortune 500 website, but they're just presented in a different format.
All right, that sounds. What about hashtags? Because I know a lot of the social media platforms, really love hashtags. What about, should you include those in your profile?
Yes, you can have hashtags in your about section. You can put them in your headline if you want. You should put them in the posts that you create, no matter if it's a long form post or a short one. And that helps with searchability. Then if you have enough of a profile already and enough of a presence on LinkedIn, then you can put your profile in what's called creator mode, and that lets you also put hashtags in the header section of your profile. Now, not everybody needs to put on creator mode. If you don't regularly create content on LinkedIn, then you don't need that. And I wouldn't recommend it for people that have very few connections, because if you use creator mode, then the connect button falls off and is replaced by a follow button. So it limits who you can communicate with directly. And therefore, I would recommend staying away from the creator mode unless you are really regular in creating content yourself and not just liking and commenting on other people's content. And also, you have a sizable following. A bare minimum would be 500, although I would recommend having a higher one than that. I personally don't use it because I'm not regular enough with my own content creation.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I'm in creator mode, and yeah, I've noticed a few things have dropped off, and I don't know if it's organic reach is not getting there, or I'm not posting often enough, or what the story is. But yeah, I might have a look at that and take that off, because that is a good tip. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I guess that one of the questions, I guess, is who is LinkedIn for? I mean, is it just for anybody, or should you own a business? Should you, I guess were the main things.
So if you're in a corporate career, then by all means you should be on LinkedIn, because that's where the recruiters are. If you are in an entrepreneurial role, then it depends on who your target market is. That said, even if you sell business to consumer, like the personal trainer, for instance, you could be getting benefits from being on LinkedIn by finding not that individual consumer, but someone that can refer those consumers to you. So in case of a trainer, it could be a medical doctor, a physical therapist, or maybe a chiropractor. People that naturally engage with the same kind of audience that you have, and that could send them to you. A colleague of mine tends to say, you don't go to LinkedIn to buy or sell a pen. You go to LinkedIn to get pens wholesale or sell pens wholesale. So it's a different mind shift. And some people decide that they're focusing on Facebook or Instagram to find their one-to-one clients, and focus on LinkedIn with a slightly different message to get those referrals.
That's a good point too. And does income really matter? If you're just starting out, or you should be earning, $50,000+ a year.
No, really, it depends not on what you currently make, but on what it is you're trying to strive for. So, who are you trying to sell to? Is your potential client pool there, or is your potential referral pool there? Your current income does not matter. If you are just switching to becoming an entrepreneur and you're literally starting from scratch, LinkedIn may be a very good platform. Organically, the content that's created on LinkedIn still does better than organic content, for instance, on Facebook, whereas Facebook is cheaper for advertising, but there's no entry minimum income. And I would say, unless someone really uses all the functionalities and is present on LinkedIn frequently enough, they don't even need the paid versions, because most people that have a paid version don't use all the functionality in the free version. And so there are limited circumstances where I would recommend a paid version, unless you truly have maxed out the free one.
Okay. I guess how do we find our clients, customers, and how can we stay in contact with them all the time?
Well, you can do searches on LinkedIn with either specific names or by company, by geography. You then can send people invitations, and I always recommend to customize the invitation as opposed to just a generic one that LinkedIn sends out, indicating why you might want to connect with someone. Now, that should not be a sales pitch in your original invite or in your follow-up message. That really gets people annoyed. It's all about building relationships. So you want to then, when someone's connected with you, talk to them about something on their profile. Is there a recent job change? Did they relocate? Find out more about them. But stay away from the instant pitch, because there's a good chance they will disconnect from you as soon as they've connected with you.
Yeah,
when those kinds
I
of
get them
messages
a
come.
lot. Because because of the podcast, I get people from overseas, wanting to connect with me, and then next thing I know, they can I promote your podcast? And I thought, really, at least shake my hand first, if nothing else.
Right, exactly. I get those too. How many people are out there selling social media services to coaches?
Yeah,
I get them every
it's
day.
so annoying. Even Facebook's the same. You join a group, and the next thing or you friend someone, next thing join my group, buy my product, unfriend straight away. I think really.
Yes, exactly. And others do the same thing. So, we want to treat others the way we want to be treated. And that means, be a person. You don't go to an in-person networking event, hand someone a business card and walk away.
No,
And that's kind of
absolutely.
what that is. So really take the time to get to know the person and see if there's something you can help them with that's maybe outside your professional scope. For instance, if you have met someone in an in-person event and you had a conversation about, let's say, they're a realtor and they're trying to find a mortgage broker, connect them with the mortgage broker. So be helpful without saying, oh yeah, I can help you with my software. That doesn't sit well. So
No. And I know, how can on LinkedIn, how can we be considered as an expert in our field? Is that to do with lots of posts, or how do we go about doing that?
posts certainly help, but that's where building up your profile to represent what you can show and how you can help is certainly helpful. So you want to include some client testimonials that you can include in both your about section and in your experience section. You want to have actual recommendations that others have placed on your profile. That's one of the things that I like about LinkedIn. It's that extra credibility, because someone else puts their headshot, their title, their name next to yours saying, I recommend Rose for XYZ. And not, Rose is a great person. So
Well, I am though,
well, yes, but that's
goes
not
without
enough
saying.
for showing your expertise. So have someone write a proper recommendation. You need at least 3 anyway to have a complete profile, among other things. So include testimonials and recommendations. If you have visuals, you can include those. For instance, certificate of recognition, or if you're a graphic designer, maybe a design that you've created that you can upload. So those, and of course, any degrees you may have, certifications should be listed. And then the rest, yes, is either posting or how you interact with other expert posts in your field. You may have a different opinion on how somebody else teaches podcasting or LinkedIn. So show your expertise in comments to other people's posts. And yes, if you can create native posts, absolutely, that helps as well.
And how do we get, a lot of us, I mean, in the podcast world, I know that we're always looking for referral partners. How do we go about sourcing those? Is it an easy task, or is it, to do with what you're posting on your profile?
Well, it's you have to be specific in who you are looking for, and then set your searches up accordingly. You can do, it's called Boolean searches, where you can use a keyword and then in all caps the word and then another keyword, and you can do multiples of those in one string, and then you could say, but in all caps, not, N-O-T, for some other term that you don't want to find. So let's say you wanted to interview a bunch of coaches in terms of mindset or business, but you don't want athletic coaches. You could say mindset and coach, not sports, something like that. That helps narrow down your search.
I didn't know that was a thing. Thank you. I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, you can. The other thing is, if you have a keyword that is, a key term that's more than one word, let's say mine is LinkedIn coach. If you put that in quotation marks, then the search needs to find you those 2 words together in that sequence. And you can still do and or not sports to narrow down your search.
I'm going to try that now.
Here's another tip.
I'm always looking for referral partners to get more guests on the podcast. So yeah, I might go and try that.
Yeah,
that's great.
You can certainly do that. The other thing you can do is you can search on Google and put in the terms that you're searching for, and then add and LinkedIn. And Google will return you LinkedIn profiles that match your search.
Oh, well, there you go. Here I thought I was intelligent and clever, and now I've learned something new. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
So I love this podcast. I learned so much.
Oh, I'm sure you do learn every week. So the other thing with the searches is if someone doesn't have a paid upgrade to LinkedIn, because there are different kinds, their searches on LinkedIn are limited. And that's where the search on Google with the and LinkedIn really comes in helpful. So because not everybody can justify the upgrade, no matter which kind it is. Some get really expensive. So sometimes there's the workaround.
A really useful tip. So there you go. If you want to find people on LinkedIn and you're only on the free account, then use Google. Heike, where can people find you if they want to work with you or they want to learn more?
Well, the easiest would be my Linktree link, which is right in my background. So it's linktr.ee/my name. Note the double letters. And on that link, you can find my LinkedIn profile, my freebies, my website. So it's a whole list of links depending on where people like to hang out. Do they want to connect with me on Facebook, on Instagram? It's all there on the Linktree link.
Well, I'm going to go and stalk you on LinkedIn now. Heike, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing with us all these really great tips for getting the most out of our LinkedIn profiles. I'm sure that people will go back now and re-look at their profiles and their about sections and just tidy them up and make sure that they can get more visible on the platform. Thanks so much.
And if they want some extra help, I'm available on LinkedIn, and I'm running some specials right now. So definitely check my website for the LinkedIn page.
Lovely. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Rose. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the Experts.